morning. It's now Saturday morning. Just double check that. Yep, Saturday morning. So I've been on trail for a week now. Just left Treverian Holiday Park. It's a mile north, or a mile just outside of Mawgan Porth. I found if you're on the A to Z maps, it won't show on there. It's just off the page. So I found it on Google. So go to Mawgan Porth, get the bus, one bus stop up the hill. Don't try and walk up the hill. There's no pavements. It's a very busy road. And the website said $12.50. Now all the campsites have charged me more than the website says, and I'm guessing it's down to the recent fuel hikes. But this one actually it said $12.50, charged us £9. But I met a guy called Chris down in Mawgan Porth. We got the bus up together, and it turns out he's another coast hiker. Turns out he actually works in the office behind the apartment building I live in. Small world. But hey Chris, I know he said he's going to be watching. How you doing? Hope you get home safe. So the coast path takes you around that peninsula over there, but that takes you around to the low tide route. I need to go into town to get some supplies, so I'm just going to cut straight through the town to the high tide route, because it's about a mile inland, rather than get to the low tide route and find it's underwater. So I'm going to cut straight through town at Newquay now, get some food and see the other side of Newquay. I've just come through Newquay. That place really hasn't changed in 20 years since I've been there. I went into Tesco's, got a bit of lunch and some drinks. Thought I'd go in and get some sunglasses. I didn't bring mine because I always break them, and the ones I got at home were about 50 quid, so I didn't want to break those. But I thought, oh, while I'm here I'll get a cup of tea, and I quite fancy a toasted sandwich or something for breakfast. Couldn't find one anywhere, but if I wanted a pint, oh yeah, the pubs are all open, and I'm not joking, 9:30 in the morning, beer gardens are full. I mean, I know it's Newquay, but geez, 9:30 in the morning and you're already in the pub. Yes, I took the, after I'd been through the town, I cut through town to the high level route, and it takes you out to this lovely little park with a boating lake and a rose garden there. It's kind of the only, I'm sure there are nice bits in Newquay, just as, when you get away from the high street. But that little park was lovely, and there was a cafe there, and I thought, oh yeah, I'll get a cup of tea and breakfast. But they were queuing out the door for it, to be honest. So I thought it was like a bit of a wait, and I didn't want to wait. I want to get going before it gets too hot. Because even at 8:30 this morning, I was sweating. It's just so warm today. And I know later I've got a long walk down, I think it's Perranporth beach. So I'm going to need plenty, make sure I drink plenty before I get on there. I think it's about a 2-mile walk down the beach. It does indeed look like it's very low tide, so I could have gone the low bridge route, but I wouldn't have seen those gardens, and they were very nice. And it did make a nice break to be away from the coast and see something like that. You can have too much of a good thing at times. I'm hoping this beach leads me to where I want to go. There was another trail that went up in the trees up there, but this way just looked more fun. So in front of me here is the low tide bridge. You come down those steps there, and you'll cross this bridge. You'll see you might see a red basket there, giving you an indication of where to head to if it's slightly submerged. So this is where I find where I go, because I don't know. I think I can see people heading up that way. Here it is, the low tide bridge. If it's flooded, you have to walk along a pathway behind these houses. It's taken me about 15 minutes to walk between the two bridges. But I didn't want to do that. I just thought I'd rather just cut my losses and just head for the high tide bridge. It turns out I would have been fine. I think the high and low tides, or the low tides, are 5 or 6 in the morning and about 8, 9 o'clock at night. So the low tide bridge is just there. Just take a short walk up on the path up here, puts you back on the coast path. Some lovely houses down by the estuary. This one here, the garden alone would buy you a house. That must have been tens of thousands to do that garden. It's got a little summer room down the bottom. Expensive. So this is the low route. I think there's some steps just there, so you would just walk across. It looks like it's about knee deep, so I probably would have been fine to come across that this morning. But that's the gamble you take. I took a wide route and there you go. Everyone seems to flock to the Newquay beaches, Fistral Beach and the like, but there are so many good beaches like this within half an hour's drive of Newquay. Constantine Bay, I think, is actually one of my favourite ones I've seen. I can see the path running up the hill there. It's pretty much what it's been like for 2 days, just meandering slow walks up hills and very open. It's been really nice, easy walking the last couple of days. Without getting the map out, I believe this is Perranporth Beach. The trail actually goes along the sand dunes, but I don't fancy that. That's hard work. So I'm going to make my way down to the beach and walk down the beach. But Perranporth is right down the end there. That was the end point for today, but it's 1 o'clock, so I might have to push on, see how I go. Oh, it's cold. I've completely lost the coast path coming out of Perranporth Beach. I went the wrong side over a hill. Found myself in a caravan park and now I'm on a road. The coast path is over there, but I can't get to it because there's a golf course and it says private. So I'm actually just by the campsite I was going to stay at tonight, but it's 2 o'clock in the afternoon. It's too early, so I'm going to walk down at the Perranporth, have a pint I think, have a look at the map, and I'll probably just wild camp tonight. So I'm just going to go to the shop and get some water to cook with tonight. The coast path has changed dramatically since leaving Perranporth. This is kind of one of the ideas why, since leaving now, I've been the idea of a wild camp. Since leaving Padstow, it's been very flat, very open, pick wherever you want to camp kind of area. But I don't know if you can see the path, it runs sort of halfway down the cliffs. Then you just turn the corner, you can see like half a mile in ahead. There's nowhere you're camping anywhere. And this is the problem why I'm hoping that I'm getting a campsite tonight and shelve the idea of a wild camp. Many other trails I've done, you're just passing one spot up for another because you know there'll be somewhere else in a few hundred metres, even 30 metres around the corner. On the coast path it's not. You spend so much time in areas like this for miles and miles. You're like this, where would you pitch a tent when you're wild camping? And you can often find yourself pitching really early or walking for potentially a couple of hours in the dark just to find a really bad spot. I mean, you could pitch there, but that's so close to the edge I would not be comfortable putting a tent there. mile and a half there outside of Perranporth. I found an old quarry. There's a couple of really good wild camping spots there, and I actually cleared a few patches, but I looked at the time and I thought it's 5 o'clock. The earliest I'd really consider setting up is about 9. It doesn't get dark till about 9:45, and I thought it'd be perfect. It's about 2-3 miles from anything in this direction, and about 1.5 miles from Perranporth, so I thought 9 o'clock I'd be fine. But it's only 5 o'clock, and I thought I'm not sitting here for 4 hours, so I'm still feeling like I've got plenty of energy. And if I have no end point, I could get another 10 miles in today, and I genuinely think I could do it. But looking at the coastline ahead, it just looks like all fields, very uneven ground. So I think I will just have a look at this campsite and let fate decide. They say they can't pitch me up because they, and some of them have been like that. Chris had a bit of a problem with the campsite. He turned up to one, he said with, I think the story went, basically he turned up to one with Amy, who I'd met a few days ago. They let her in, but were a bit funny about letting him in. So I told him, next time you go to a campsite, phone up beforehand. So I'm hiking the coast path, have you got availability if I turn up later? So a little tip for you, just because some of them do accommodate hikers. So just say when you're ringing up on the off chance, I'm hiking the coast path, have you got availability? Rather than just say, have you got availability? Because they might think you're a family or as a group of you. So just do that. But I shouldn't be too far from the campsite now. It's just outside Perranporth Airport. But you can see what I mean. I think this, for the next few miles ahead, I think this is a lot of what I'm going to see. I could be wrong, but this is what it looks like on Google Earth, and this is what you've got to be careful of on the coast path. You can walk through miles of flat, lovely ground, well not flat, but open spaces that you could pitch, and then you can spend half a day walking through stuff like this, and you're just never going to pitch a tent in there. I've never known a trail like it. This is my sixth national trail, and I've always just been picky on other trails. Now it's a bit uneven, the grass is a bit long, I'm not quite sure about this one, and you can just pass one spot over for another. But on this southwest coast path, if you kind of find a spot, you've got to take it, and that's one of the reasons why I haven't really done a wild camp yet. Genuinely not finding anything, but I think I would camp there, and then you have the risk of most of the campsites you've got to be in by sort of 6:30, 7 o'clock latest. They differ, so do you take the gamble of take the campsite or pushing on and possibly not finding anything and having a really uncomfortable night? I think I've just found my first wild camp spot. So Perranporth Airport is just there, and the way it's laid out on the map, it's clearly an old military World War II base, and there's all these possibly anti-aircraft positions here. These are a bit open because someone could drive down here at night, but there's a concrete pad up here that I'm pretty much sheltered even if someone drives down one of these roads. So I think I'm going to take the opportunity to park in there. I might have a look at this battery position here, because that would be, got to be completely sheltered in. This is why I bought a freestanding tent, because I know there are so many concrete pads around here from ex-military, ex-mining, that I can just get in one of those and just have the tent freestanding. The only thing that worries me is all these roads that come off. They go to nowhere. They don't lead anywhere. But it's just the fact that sort of the youth of this area could drive down and see. Let's have a look at this one up here. So I know if this is where I live, there'd be loads of teenagers in cars coming down here for a spliff and a drink. But it would save me paying £15. The campsite is just over there. I can go without a shower tonight. So it saved me paying £15 just for a spot in a field. Yeah, they've all got roads leading into them. I might look at the concrete pad over here then. Yeah, I think I'm going to pitch up in here tonight, because that's perfect. This is exactly why I bought a freestanding tent, because I knew there were lots of little things like this along the coast path in Cornwall. So the nearest town is about 1.5 miles that way. The campsite is just over there, and St Agnes is over there, but there's a big valley between me and St Agnes, and that's about 2 miles away as well, and no cars can get down this bit, so I think I'm golden down here. I can be hidden right in there. So I think I've got my first wild camp for the night, for the trip. So while I'm waiting for the sun to go down, I thought I'd cook up a little bit of food. I've just got one of these raspberry crumbles from Decathlon, and these are just some tester pots that I bought, fire pot ones. So this is a pasta bolognese. I've already had some food today, so I don't need. I've only just eaten a sub roll, so I don't need too much. I thought it'd be a perfect size. The fire pot pasta bolognese is very good. I usually don't like dehydrated meals, that's why I've never usually used them before. But this is very, very good, I've got to say. I'll tell you about the Decathlon raspberry crumble in a second. Okay, the raspberry crumble from Decathlon, there's no crumble to it, and it actually tastes more like rhubarb than raspberry, if I'm honest. It's nice, but it's more like a raspberry smoothie. I don't regret buying it, it's alright, but the pasta bolognese from Firepot, I'm definitely going to buy a few of those, because that was really good. Right, I'm all set up for the night. It seems this place turned into Piccadilly Circus. I sat there and cooked something to eat, and then sat there for about half hour, and then just like loads of people started turning up. I thought, where are they coming from? Because one town's 2 miles that way with a big valley, another town's 2.5 miles that way. And I realised they're coming from the campsite. It's people just going for a late night walk. So in the end I just thought, sod it, I'm putting the tent up. I don't care what people say now, because it needs to dry out for a bit before I get in, before the sun goes down. So that is me pitched for the night, and I will see you tomorrow morning. Thanks very much.